you find out who
She's
Abby
strong.
is. Yes, Abby is. She is a strong ass character, and it makes sense.
woman.
Her story.
Hey y'all, welcome back to TNT Reactions. I'm your girl Tasha.
I'm T. What's up?
So we watched The Last of Us season 2.
No, I watched
episode
The Last
1.
of Us season 2.
Yeah, I checked out
Yeah.
I think 10 minutes into the episode.
That's crazy.
I couldn't take it no more.
That's crazy, especially since we waited for so long.
I have
for it to
been
come
waiting
on.
so long.
Yeah,
And
we watched all the trailers. We were really excited to see it.
and then we did the video game reaction as well on the gaming channel.
Yeah, we did both games because initially when we watched the first season of The Last of Us on HBO, we hadn't seen the game,
Right.
and so we thought that the series was so good that we actually wanted to go back and explore the game, and we did. And we went through the first game, which was phenomenal, and we went through the second game, which was also phenomenal. And so that kind of prepared us for season 2, but I think it kind of maybe ruined our expectations or overly prepared us.
No, I don't think that's what it is. If number one, okay, so I did give it a chance. Watching 10 minutes of it, it was unbearable. Let me just say that.
Oh, yikes.
And I was like, okay, maybe it's me. And I was going through like this in my head. I was trying to make sense of it, why this wasn't right, why this didn't feel right. And I said to myself, maybe because I watched season 2 of the video game.
Yeah, right.
But no, that can't be it, because when I watched season 1 on HBO and then I watched the video game, it was like
it was still good.
It was just a great story.
Yeah.
The character development was just exceptional. And so with me looking forward to this, something just felt off, especially about Ellie.
Okay, yeah. Bella Ramsey.
Okay, I don't.
She's the actress for Ellie.
Okay, I don't know her name. I'm just talking about the character, but and so I was like, okay, maybe it's just me, but I had to pause it because I started being in my phone and I was like, babe, I don't like this.
Yeah. I think the way the series opened up, it was kind of odd because they had her wrestling with a grown man, and basically the guy, he was pulling his punches and she was upset. But from a storytelling perspective, for me, it seemed like they were already trying to show how badass Ellie was. And they never
isn't necessary.
And it wasn't necessary because in the game, and I am going to make these comparisons because it is based off a game and they do a lot of one-to-one shots from the game. But in the game, they never had to show how badass she was. It was just a part of her character.
Right.
And so with them starting off with her wrestling with this grown man and showing that she could take a punch, I was like, okay, that's kind of odd, you know? But also something else that bothered me was how they spilled the beans with Abby's story. You know, right off the bat, they initially showed that Abby was upset and was looking for Joel because, you know, he killed her father.
Right.
And so maybe they didn't give out all the information, but I think that was one of the bigger things that was revealed throughout the story while we were playing the game or reacting to the game story was Abby's motivation. And I felt that was very cheap of them to kind of display both of those kind of reveals so early into the series, right?
Yeah. And I just couldn't put my finger on it, but then you were saying how Abby, she wasn't muscular.
Oh, yeah. So I think initially when they showed the flashback, it was just kind of like a skinny Abby, and that's fine or whatever. But I did kind of get the vibe that she was toned down. And I'm going to say this. I'm going to say it like this.
It makes her who she is.
Yes. When we play the game, y'all can go back and check out. Y'all can check out our reaction.
It caught us off guard.
When we first saw The Last of Us 2 and I seen Abby, I was like, what the fuck? I was like, who is this? Like, why is she built like that? Why is she built like a man? And it kind of bothered me initially. But as the story unfolds and you find out who Abby is. Yes, Abby is. She is a strong ass character, and it makes sense.
Woman.
Her story, and her character and her journey for revenge makes it believable.
It does,
that she would hit the gym and she would try to be as tough as she could be because she knew that what she was undertaking.
Yes.
And it made all the more sense because of how they should depict her character in the game, of how badass she is, because she is a badass character. But also it helped with towards the end of the game. I don't want to spoil too much, but when you do see Abby at the end of the game, it's very heartbreaking when you see what she actually looks like. And so I think part of that, that build,
that transformation,
yeah, I thought that was a part of the story. And so just seeing that in the show and seeing how she wasn't built like that, I was like, it was kind of disappointing a little bit.
So in season 1, the last episode, they ended on Ellie, kind of being kidnapped, fighting her way out of becoming food, setting the whole town on fire.
Oh, yeah. Yeah,
and all those things. And so when they started this season,
well, season one actually ended with her escaping the hospital. Joel rescued her.
Oh, well, that was the episode before that. I'm just saying how she was a badass.
Okay, yeah. Like the beginning of showing how she was like a badass.
And she's a survivor.
Yeah.
From the womb,
right.
Like her mother was bitten and all those things. And so that type of character development, when season 2 popped up on the screen, I was like, okay, it felt kind of like feminism. Like, let me show you I'm a strong woman by wrestling this man, like you were saying.
Yeah, right.
And I found it unnecessary, but also it felt agenda-y. A little bit. Well, and I know season 1 has some agenda in it. And it was very cringy and forced, and I didn't like it.
But there was more good than bad from the first season.
Yeah.
I think
definitely, but just starting off the episode like that, it just felt...
It was lazy storytelling.
Yeah, because, and it's something just... I still can't put my finger on it entirely, and it could just be the agenda behind it. But I didn't... Like, from Ellie, she just didn't feel like Ellie to me anymore. That's the biggest thing.
Right, yeah.
The character just doesn't feel like Ellie anymore. And once I seen her and the story, I was like, I don't think she's a good match anymore.
Okay. What did you think about Pedro Pascal and Joel?
Pedro, I love Pedro Pascal. He is Joel to me. But like I said, I only made it 10 minutes into the episode. I don't know what else happened.
Okay, well, I will say this, because I watched the whole thing. I felt like all the characters kind of match the representation of who they are in the game. And I understand that the director, they kind of want to make their own thing. And so, HBO, they're usually good at casting and matching up the characters to their stories and everything. And so for the most part, I agree with you. I felt like everyone kind of matched their role from what we expect of them, from what I've seen so far. But Ellie's character did feel like it was a shift or a change. And there were just certain things with Bella Ramsey and how she's portraying Ellie so far that I didn't really like anymore.
Yeah, just in this one episode, it just fell off.
Yeah. And so...
and I was like, I can't do it.
Yeah.
I tried.
Well, you know what? I am going to continue. I am going to continue to watch the series because
you're so brave.
Yeah, I do want to see how it's going to unfold.
Brave and strong.
But, but this first episode, if I have to give it a score, I'll probably give it like a 5.
Okay.
Especially since it was like
nice.
Well, it was also a slog. Like it took a long time to build into some action, and I felt like they maybe could have started the story off with action if they wanted to do that. If they wanted to show Ellie being a badass or how much she's matured, then they should have started off with her and Dina going on that mission to go stop the clickers or something like that. And we could have seen her in action that way. you know. But the way they did it this time around, it seemed kind of odd.
I say replace Ellie.
Oh, yikes.
I mean, it just doesn't feel the same.
Yeah.
And I don't know exactly what the shift is. It could be some of the things that you mentioned, but I still feel like there's something that I can't put my finger on.
Oh, well, maybe y'all can. So let us know down below in the comment section. But as always, like, share, and subscribe. We'll see y'all next time. Take care. Peace.